All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Hobson. Ed Hobson, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Hobson is on the podcast today, ukulelist extraordinaire. You okay?
I'm good.
So, do you write a lot of instrumentals?
So I didn't, and I do, if that makes sense. Now, I used to write a lot of instrumentals when I first started playing, and then, so this that I just played that on is a baritone, and I generally play on a tenor, and I felt like I wasn't getting a full enough sound to do instrumentals live, and I kind of started gearing my songwriting completely over things that I could completely replicate in a live setting. So I was writing to like expand my set list so that I had more original songs to do on time. That song, so I guess working title is like Warrior's Lullaby, kind of. So the idea behind it, I mean, really, it's just like a melody that came to me, but something that I had been trying to work on that I think I'm putting that towards is there's this idea in Irish mythology of this fairy or god, depending on what time of history you're talking about him, called the Dagda, and he kind of invented music. He had like a magic harp that could play, I think different stories I've seen 3 or 4 different kinds of songs, and it was like one can put you to sleep, one will make you cry, and one will make you like laugh uncontrollably with joy. And I really liked the idea of like those are the 3 barest, simplest, like ancient melodies, and all of the music is built off of like those things. And just with what I've kind of been doing with my instrumental stuff, like really stripping it back, that I liked that idea. Like I liked the idea of having these like really simple but really potent melodies. So.
Yeah. Nice.
Lean back. That's cool.
No, it's okay. That's cool, man. Yeah, that's it was a really nice melody there. Where are we actually? People are probably wondering where this fire came from.
Yeah, we're at my house in my little homemade fire pit back here.
You just grabbed some sticks together and threw this down for us.
Yep, that's I enjoy. I grew up in the woods, and well, like basically as teenagers, we just went into the woods and had parties and made fires. So
Oh, cool.
It's still very close to my heart, just having a nice fire outside.
Yeah. Okay, so you know exactly how to do all that.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably better than most people.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's definitely a role I like to take on at the campfire party. As soon as I see a fire, I'm like, I'm gonna make that better.
Nice. What do you usually do to make it better? Just make it into a nice
just
tower?
build it. Yeah, just build it into a more. I feel like a lot of people just like throw a bunch of sticks, throw a bunch of like logs down, and then throw lighter fluid on it, and it'll like burn until the lighter fluid burns off, and then go off. But I don't know. There's something very simple and like essentially human about just building a fire and then like sitting by it and watching it. And I don't actually want this, but I've always been interested in the feeling of like being in a situation where if I didn't build a fire, I would die.
Oh, yeah.
And like I would love to experience like that feeling of elation of like actually getting it to start. Must be so awesome. And like just experiencing the warmth of a fire that you would die without and it's not something that I really want to do.
Right.
Because if I don't build
sucks.
a fire, then I'll die.
It's like a real life. You must have loved that movie, Castaway.
Castaway's okay. Yeah.
Castaway's okay.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay, not exactly what you're looking for.
No, I'm not. I don't want to go insane. I want like one night. I don't want like.
Okay.
I don't want like the full treatment.
Okay. So you want to get lost in like Yellowstone?
Yeah, I would love to get. That's actually like I would love to get lost in Yellowstone, and like meet a wolf or something, like a nice wolf.
Make friends with a wolf for one
Yeah.
night,
Yeah, exactly.
and then
be
tomorrow
like-
you get to go back into AC.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll see you later.
When did you actually start playing music? Was it while you were living in the mountains and the forest and the woods? You said mountains or woods? What'd you say?
Woods. So
Okay.
I grew up in Connecticut. I grew up in a town called Guilford that is about 20 minutes outside of New Haven, which is like an hour and a half from New York City. So.
I heard New Haven had a pizza culture there.
Oh yes, New Haven has the best.
I only know
pizza
that
in
because
the
I
world.
like the one bite reviews on YouTube.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
New Haven. New
Yeah.
Haven is famous for pizza. That's pretty much pizza and gun violence.
They're all all the pizza places are like better than average. At least.
They're the best pizza places in the world by far.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm biased, so.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yeah.
I think that's pretty.
No, that's actually
proven.
right. Yeah, because the guy who does the one bite review said that's the pizza capital of the world.
Yeah.
New Haven. And I was thinking of
Yep.
Old Forge for a second. Old Forge is not it though. That's the one that's slightly better than average. New Haven has it all 8s, all 9s. You know.
Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know. It's a whole different animal because they make the pizza. Like it's all brick oven and it's
Yeah.
all super thin crust with like a focus on the toppings.
Right.
More so.
Man, I just totally sidetracked the music conversation.
Yeah. But let's talk about pizza.
I just got excited about
But New Haven
pizza.
has a cool music scene too.
Oh, really?
I mean, very small, but I mean, it was cool to me. I
Do they
enjoyed
pay
it.
their
There's-
musicians with pizza? Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
I just want to get back to pizza, man.
I'm sure I've been paid in pizza at some point in my music career.
Nice. Yeah. So you started there. What did you first start on the ukulele or?
So I first started singing in choir.
Okay.
In school. That was like
High school?
in middle school.
Okay.
We had like a competitive choir that took up a lot of my time and was really fun. And I think honestly made more of an impact on me than I think. Because then moving into like the next stage of middle school, our accompanist was, did I say that right? Accompanist?
Accompanist? Maybe? I don't know.
He was this old jazz piano player named Don Trenner who he just passed away recently, but he played
really?
with like any great jazz musician you can think of. He had played with them, and
Oh, wow.
like I think just being around a musician of that caliber, like looking back on it now, I think that had a huge impact on me. I remember we did a concert where he brought in like a bass player and a horn player, and we did like jazz standards, and it was cool. So yeah, there was like a real culture of music and arts in the town that I grew up in, and I'm very lucky for that. But as far as an instrument goes, well, I played the French horn, and I hated it, and I was bad at it. So that is that.
Wow.
But the ukulele, I basically I got a ukulele right before it became like the thing.
Before people started doing rap covers on YouTube?
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, like right before that, I basically just wanted something affordable and small that I could accompany myself with, because I wanted to start writing songs, and you can only go so far just singing them to yourself. So yeah, I saved up a bunch of change to buy it. I remember I had a box full of all my like quarters and nickels and dimes and stuff, and I saved up $50 to get my first ukulele.
Nice.
And
how long ago was that?
I want to say I was like 12 or 13, so like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that. And yeah, it was really like I wanted something that I could take on hikes with me mostly.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
Especially the cheap ones where you don't really care about breaking them.
Exactly. And yeah, and I mean, they're pretty easy to keep safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that started, and I just kind of kept doubling down on it. It kept being like, well, I should probably like learn guitar or something. Like, and I mean, I can play guitar. I can play enough guitar. I wouldn't probably gig at this point with a guitar just because I'm not where I'm at, but I played enough guitar. But I think I just kept doubling down because as I played it more, I got better at it, and then I was just like, well, I'm not going to start a whole new instrument. Like, I might as well just keep on with that. And another big influence right when I started to play, there's this guy named Jake Shimabukuro who is like,
oh, of course.
Yeah, and he's like the Jimi Hendrix.
I think I first saw him on Conan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came out there, and I think he did "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," which is his hit, right?
That's his hit. That's the video that made him famous. Is him doing a cover of
How do you say his last name again?
Don't ask me. I probably said it wrong. Shimabukuro.
Shimabukuro.
I don't speak Japanese, so I probably said it wrong. So
That's a Japanese last name.
If he ever sees it, yeah. But he, yeah. I mean, it was like I saw that video, and I was like, I've never heard anyone play any instrument like that, let alone a ukulele like that. And that was like, I want to be like him kind of deal. And he was not super famous at that point, and he happened to come through like this tiny little town hall a couple towns over from me, like a couple weeks after I got my ukulele, and I went, and it was free, and there was like 50 people there, and it was just him on stage with the ukulele, and it like blew my mind. And then afterwards I got the chance to like go up to meet him and talk about ukuleles and stuff, and he was like, "Never stop playing, brother," and stuff. And it had a big effect on me.
Wow.
It had a huge effect on me. It was like meeting. It was like looking back on it now, because now he sells out stadiums and stuff. Like, it was like meeting Jimi Hendrix as a guitarist. Like he is that to the instrument. Like,
yes, for sure, definitely virtuosic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean, just like anything like any artist in general, I think I started trying to imitate his style, and now I've definitely moved away from that.
What's your style now? We got a little taste in that instrumental, but you like to sing too.
I do like to sing too, so the instrumental and the singing stuff is different. But instrumentally, I don't play with fingernails, which I think is the big difference in my playing style between me and other like instrumental ukulele players, is that they grow out their fingernails like a classical guitar player and can play really fast and stuff. And I sacrifice some of that speed for timbre and dynamics. I think I have more control over it with just using my fingertips instead of my fingernails. So my style is very like, for the instrumental stuff at least, my style is very like gentle and slow and soft. Whereas a lot of the instrumental ukulele stuff focuses a lot more on speed and dexterity. So it's kind of like, you know, that Johnny Cash interview when they're like, how'd you get this sound where you play, you know, so slow and rhythmic? And he's like, well, we'd play it faster if we could. Like,
oh, yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know, you know, but singing wise, I mean, it's my two big influences growing up were like Irish traditional music and like folk music, and then Motown and funk. So I think my band's music and my originals, my lyrical originals, have a combination of like the storytelling and lyricism of the folk music with like the groove and rhythm motivated from Motown and funk music. So I think that's where that is.
Nice.
But yeah, I kind of think of them as two separate animals at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do another song for us?
Sure. The wind is cold, but I am not. I'm out of breath and the sun is hot. My eyes blown open by the breeze, the sacred exhale of the trees. But could I bring a peaceful moment to a burning concrete plain? Crowded streets of lonely people make me feel like I'm insane. The lights turn red and I'm in pain. Without her, nothing here feels real. I'll be a pilgrim to Sam's Hill and find the ancient Pequot soul. Bring you back down to the land of the Seminole, and try to bring a peaceful moment to a burning concrete plain. Crowded streets of lonely people make me feel like I'm insane. The heart of Westwoods helps to ease my pain. I can bring a peaceful moment to a burning concrete plain. Crowded streets of lonely people make me feel like I'm insane. The heart of Westwoods helps to ease my pain. My feet are bare, the asphalt's hard. Wind is cold, but I am not.
All right. Nicely done, bro.
Thank you, sir.
What do you like to sing about, man? You got some peaceful stuff going there. You like to bring the chill vibes, huh?
I like to bring the chill vibes, but also I have like rock rap songs about people killing themselves and stuff too. like I like to bring I like to express myself both ways in that way, and that's why I'm glad I have my band too. Because
What's your band's name?
My band's name is The Fly Casuals. You can become the third person on Instagram to follow us. We actually just recorded 4 songs, and we're gonna start releasing stuff soon. But that's like you said, like the chill vibes. I wanna separate the two things professionally and artistically for me. So to have under my name have that same chill instrumental and like light vocal, perhaps vibe. And then with the band, I can do my higher energy and more improv focused stuff as well, because I like to express myself both ways, and I like to sing a nice calm song like that, but I also like to screech out some blues once in a while and alchemize my pain into something constructive.
Okay. Yeah, that's 2 totally different vibes. So the Fly Casuals is for
I mean, it's still pretty chill vibes, honestly, but we do a couple songs that are heavier, and we have that range of emotion and dynamic and feel, which is fun to be able to explore, because I've learned how to do a lot with just a voice and a ukulele, but there still is only so much you can do with an instrument and a voice. So it's nice to be able to bring all the other elements together, because often, like that song, for example, I don't know if we'll release the recording of it that we have, but I do it with the band, and when I write a song like that, I hear all the other parts. And it's such a good feeling to like have it all come together and hear it with the whole band and be like, oh, this is like the thing
there it is
that I imagined. Yeah, exactly.
You're playing with great musicians too. The drummer Craig,
Craig
and
Pearson,
forget the bassist name.
Bryce Hayes.
I almost said Nate.
And Dominic Pereira and Guido Parente, so I don't leave anybody out. But yeah, they're all great musicians, and it's really, I mean, Bryce sees right inside my brain, which is great. I can be James Brown and just give him extremely vague direction, and then have him do something amazing and take credit for it.
Nice.
So
it's really powerful when you have people around you who know how to bring your sound to life.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, it opens up a world for you.
Oh yeah, it's so nice, and you lose that frustration of trying to communicate with people who just aren't on the same wavelength as you with it.
Yeah. Do you think that, have you ever played with someone who has a lot of experience but just doesn't understand what you're trying to do?
Yeah, a lot of times, because I definitely, a lot of times, and generally what happens with that is I'm just like, okay, this is your band, and I think of it as like if I'm not on the same wavelength as someone creatively and artistically, a switch flips in my mind, and I'm like, this is a job. This isn't me getting out my artistic expression. It's like, okay, if you want to be, if you want this to be your direction, just tell me where to stand and what to sing and what to do. And I'm still going to bring emotion into it, but yeah, I don't know. I've definitely worked with people in the past who just didn't get my vision for what it's supposed to be. And I mean, I think going back to school has helped a lot, because I have learned better language to communicate what I'm thinking of with people. But I've definitely I definitely have gotten too comfortable at times being in situations where I'm playing with musicians who are on the same wavelength as me, who I don't have to effectively communicate what I want it to sound like. And then I get with someone who isn't on the same wavelength as me, and I don't have the vocabulary to like explain it. And sometimes it's just like, sometimes you need to compromise and things will get better, and sometimes it's just, you're not meant to work together, which is cool too, because like there's a lot of different things there's a lot of different needs that people have with music. So
yeah. So what is your projection? What is you? What you is?
What you is?
What I'm trying to ask is, in a very eloquent way, what is your goal in your career? Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? You want to be at Madison Square? Hopefully,
maybe I don't know.
Hopefully, post-pandemic, you can play in front of someone.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's kind of how I feel right now when you say that. It's like, man, I just like to play anywhere. Like,
honestly,
like I played a couple places, but it's like every time I've played, I've been like very hesitant about it, and it's always been a situation where I'm not advertising it because I feel. How I justify it now and how I feel okay about it with the pandemic is like, if someone hires me to play somewhere and there's already going to be people there, I will show up and play for the people who are already going to be there, but I'm not going to go out of my way to put on an event or like promote something, because then I feel responsible for creating a gathering of people. But yeah, goal-wise, I'm really just in love with the process of writing music and then manifesting it and making it into a real thing and performing music. I still love performing music, but really the writing and recording of it is what I've fallen in love with. So goal-wise, as far as my career goes, I just want to find a way to continue making it possible for me to go through that process and not have to worry about eating that day. So I would really like to, dream career. I'd really love to write music for movies and for theater. I've got ideas for crazy big productions and stuff like that.
Musicals.
Yeah, I would love to write musicals. That's kind of where I kind of skipped over that part when I was talking about my history before, but I was a big theater dork.
Really?
In high school, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went to school for a semester for musical theater and found out that I liked doing drugs and drinking more, so I ended up failing out within one semester, but yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing I did.
Now you're drug free.
Then. I'm drug free. Yeah, 3 years as of 2 days ago.
Wow! Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
That's awesome, man. It's a big deal. How's it? You feel like it's gotten a lot easier over the years?
Staying sober?
Yeah.
Yes and no. It's definitely gotten easier since the first year. The first year is really tough, but I do 12-step groups and so I know the process to go through to stay sober now. It's not like I'm any less of an alcoholic or a drug addict now than I was then. I just know what to do to keep that at bay. So, yes, it has gotten easier in that sense. Like the obsession is gone, but it's never gotten to the point where it's like a non-issue. Like it takes constant, for me, for this drug addict, it takes constant maintenance to be able to maintain my sobriety. It's not just something where it's like, oh, well, it's not like here's my addiction and here's where I'm at sober and I'm getting further away from it. It's really like a parallel line where I get better at maintaining myself being on the right line, but if I take one step, or maybe two steps, if I take a couple steps off of that right pathway, I'll be right back where I was. It won't be like a slow progression back into me being where I was before.
Right.
Which is cool. I mean, and that's something that has changed, is just knowing that now. That's something you learn by being around other addicts, by being in 12-step programs. And, you know, I went to rehab, I went to therapy, all of that, which is great. It's really like, once you learn those kinds of things about addiction, then that makes sobriety possible. But yeah.
Wow. So do you have any, like, for musicians, do you think there's something unique about the way musicians approach drugs and alcohol addiction and whatnot? Do you think there's something that you had to deal with that was maybe a little bit different than others, maybe just being around it more?
Well, I think there's a lot of crossover in the way an addict's brain works and a way a musician's brains work, so I think that there's a lot of crossover in that, but it really is, at the end of the day, you know, obviously there is access to drugs and alcohol and stuff within the music world that is just something that is inherently connected with the places that we play music in. You know, we play music at bars and stuff at night where people are drinking and people are doing drugs, but really, I'm not going to be the kind of person that looks for like a cause and effect as to why I am the way I am, because there is a genetic component to it. There is a spiritual component to it. But yeah, I think you do see a lot of crossover with creative people and addiction.
What is it about creativity that makes you want to lean on that stuff, you think?
So, for me, I feel like it's just like a negative manifestation of the same need to like get out of my head, and having this like, you know, constantly running, ticking inner monologue going in my head saying whatever things it wants to about me or whatever. And I think I have a need to create, but I can silence that need with drugs and alcohol and sex and et cetera, which is why when I did get sober, I started writing and creating a lot more, because I realized that was like, there was a essential spiritual need that I had that I was filling with shitty filler substances, you know.
Yeah.
Something people say is like, I had a God-shaped hole in my heart that I was trying to fill with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to put it all into words right now, because it's like, usually when I'm talking to someone about addiction, it's like at a 12-step meeting with someone who knows knows kind of the main deal of it. But there is something essential to being an artist, that like having that hunger and that need that's very similar to being an addict.
On a brighter note, what's your favorite musical?
Geez. I don't know why South Pacific came to my mind first, because it's not South Pacific, but I do like South Pacific.
I mean, it's a fun one, I guess.
I do, like, as far as modern musicals, I do really like Hamilton. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that's something you have to say, like, with slight embarrassment now because of how hard people stan it. But,
it's really good.
Jesus Christ Superstar, what am I thinking? Of course. Yeah, I love Jesus Christ Superstar. The album, the movie. I saw it live with Ted Neely, the guy who played Jesus in the movie, and he was like 70 when I saw him play it, still being Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just like, it's so funny because it's just like, obviously Jesus isn't supposed to be 70 in the story, but you're just kind of like, yeah, we let him do this. Like,
wow,
we'll let it slide with him.
it's like a legacy feature of the musical.
Yeah. That's just what he does now. Like, he just is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Wow, and what kind of musical would you write?
So, I would really like to write something like that, or something where it could be like a concept album that lives on its own, that you could then expand into being a musical. I've always had this idea of, so there's this British Celtic queen named Boudica who like led this rebellion against the Roman Empire and like burned down a bunch of towns and like was very successful for a little bit and then got epically destroyed. And I've always wanted to like bring that into like a super epic Les Mis type like rock opera kind of thing, like very heavily lyrical and I've always had the idea of like having something similar to Jesus Christ Superstar where it's very band heavy, like it's very rock heavy, and then have the band be on stage and have the music and the musical kind of blend together like that.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as my music goes, because I kind of avoided your question about goals. So recently I put out an album of all instrumental stuff with just using the baritone. Or actually, I did use the tenor to play lead over one track, but it's really been gaining some traction on Spotify, and people seem to respond to it. So I'd really like to just continue to make content like that throughout my life as well, and have that lane of like just calm relaxation music, because that's really something that I never performed really. That something was always central to like music, and the instrument to me was just playing quietly to myself as like a self-soothing relaxation kind of thing, and being able to bring that and have it actually be something I can present now is cool. And like that's something I'd like to continue doing, is just creating content like that. And I mean, that's really like my goal is to just be as prolific as I can with creating content. Like I just want to make a million different songs and different styles, and I want to do everything I can with it, which is not very focused goal, but that's what I want to do,
I think you can do it, man. You want to play another song for us?
Sure.
Like the sunset songs of chickadees in the trees, she sings to me quietly and divinely. Like a first school dance romance, I took a chance. I touched her hands gently, more than friendly. Whoa, there goes that snowy road before us. And honey, I'm not playing any games. She serves the Lord. Mine lives in the forest. And he's the same, although we call him different names. Can we abide? Like a firefly's light to light on summer nights, so she fills my life with mystery. But simplicity. Like a cool bun of grace, she struck my face, and in its place put her face, her taste. Whoa, whoa. There goes that snowy road before us. And honey, I'm not playing any games. She serves the Lord. Mine lives in the forest, and he's the same, although we call him different names. Two different colored strings together weave a tapestry of green and golden wooden scenes to show the joy that we could bring.
Ed Hobson, everybody. Thanks for showing up today, man. Thanks
man.
for letting me come over and do this with you. Thanks for the conversation.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for coming over.
Yeah, where can they
Appreciate it.
find you? Social network?
Oh, you can find me Ed Hobson Music on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and just Ed Hobson, HOBSON. Don't forget the B. People, I swear I've gotten checks with a V or a P instead of a B. I'm like, damn.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find me on Spotify, on Apple Music, iTunes, whatever. I'm out there.
All right. Thank you, man. That's it.